Framer used to struggle with SVGs. Because of this, you might have found yourself going back to Figma every now and then while still building old websites in Framer. Today, this changes. Framer just got a huge vectors update that introduces some of the biggest things that we were waiting for and more. Today, we're diving into them to see what's possible now. My name is Nandi, this is Framer University, and let's get started. So, if you don't already know, Framer used to handle vectors a little bit differently than Figma. What we had to do is we had to draw a graphic layer in order to draw vectors. So the way it worked is we press down G on our keyboard, we draw a frame here, and within here we could use the pen tool and any other tool to create these SVGs. But if we pressed P anywhere else, it worked, but it still created this graphic layer around it. It just made it a little bit hard. And of course, if I first of all now I just press B, use graphics to draw a pet. So yeah, it made it a little not so easy to work with. But still we had it. It was great, but not great enough. So now with this new vectors tool, what we can do is we can draw anywhere. So let me switch to that version of Framer. So now what we can do is we can press P anywhere. As you can see, it switches to this vector on the top. And now if I want to draw, I don't know, maybe just press O and draw like a circle. I can do it here. And it's pretty cool. Like, this is an SVG here. This is not a frame. This is an SVG. And yeah, as you can see, I can adjust the points. And now I have this. And it's just there on my website. It's really cool. So now these paths and SVGs and vectors are just like frames. They're part of the website. They are on the canvas. And we don't have to mess around with those ugly graphic layers to create them. What's also pretty cool is that they added this new feature that I have never seen like anywhere, which is the fact that when you go in your Finder and drag and drop a bunch of your icons onto the canvas, what you're gonna see is that it will suggest you creating a new vector set with these icons. So I can just name it my icon pack and I can hit create. And as you can see, it just started creating this vector set, which is here on my canvas. And as you can see now, this is essentially, it kind of looks like a component with different variants. And yeah, I can just edit these right here if I want to. So if I can just edit these little icons here. I can also rename them if I want to. But the most impressive part is that now I can go to the assets panel and my icon pack is right here. I can just drag and drop it. Now it's here on my canvas, and I get this little property on the right panel if I select the icon, which allows me to browse these visually. And this is just crazy. We never had this. We weren't really able to browse the icons with this visual search, and now we can do that. Now, of course, this is black, so let me just go within. I can just double click the vector set to go within. And of course, what we want to do is we want to have a variable for the color. So what I can do is I can select these SVGs on all of the icons. And since now this acts a little bit like a component, it also supports variables. So let me just select these one by one. And now that everything is selected, I can go in the right panel, click fill, and create a variable here, which is going to be a color variable. Now I already had one, so let me just remove that. And this is going to be just called color. And by default, it is going to be white. So now if I go back, you'll see that by default it's white. But the most important part is I can go here on the right and change the color to anything else. And still I get the visual search experience. I can also search by name. So airplane, it's just going to show the airplane here. So this is just crazy good. But for example, if you design your icon here on the canvas, so let's say this is my icon, you can see it's a crazy icon here. Let me just change it to white, and I can add these two vector set really easily if I want to. So for example, this is my icon pack. I can add this to it really easily. I can just right click add to vector set and my icon. And yeah, now it is within my icon pack. Let me just remove the fill color of this vector, and you can see it's right there. And you can see that now right here, our little circle icon is right here, and I can just select it. So yeah, this is a pretty cool little feature. Now, the last thing that we have to talk about, which is an amazing update to these vectors, is that now we can also add animations to them. Now, this is going to be cool. So let's say, actually I just had this idea now. What if I want to add like a little animation around this like profile image frame? We can do that really easily. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just wrap it in a stack, and then I'm going to set that to fit with Shift and A. I'm going to add some padding around, I think, maybe 10. Yeah, 10 looks great. And then I'm going to draw a frame. I'm going to paste it within this stack that I just created. I'm going to set it to absolute, and I'm going to pin it to all sides. So what I'm just doing here is I want to prepare a frame here within this avatar frame that will hold my little vector that I'm creating. So now I'm just going to lock the avatar, so I'm not placing anything within, and I'm going to just press O and draw a frame, or a vector actually, a little circle. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the fill color, and I'm going to add a stroke. Maybe it's going to be, it's probably going to be inside, that's for sure, but I'm not really sure about the thickness. Maybe it's going to be 2. I'm going to select white as a color, and then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to maybe change the color as well to something a little bit darker. So now we have this, which is pretty interesting. And to add a little animation to this, we can do that really easily. So now I'm going to select both of these ovals. I'm going to press Command and G to group them. And now I'm going to create a vector set with this. And now that we are here within this vector set viewer, I can select both of these ovals and go to the right panel to add an effect to them. So this is where we can animate them. I'm going to select stroke, and we're going to just set the loop to yes. I want this to continuously loop, so I'm going to set the type to continuous. So now this is what we have. It just loops around continuously. But I think I want to change the inner circle, so I'm going to select only that, go to the top right, set the length to 50 and the offset to 50% as well. And now, as you can see, it is going to be a little bit different of an effect. So now if I go back and press Command P to preview this, you're going to see that this little circle is just animating really nicely. And yeah, so now you can animate your icons really easily in case they are using stroke, because Framer just added this cool little effect. So yeah, this is basically the new vectors in Framer. We no longer need to switch back to Figma to draw these little illustrations or any SVGs, because now we can do it really easily in Framer. Just to recap, we can now draw anywhere, so we just press P and we draw something here. It's going to be on the website, and there's no need for any graphic layers or anything. It's just there, like very well integrated into all the other elements on our website. And then we can also put them into vector sets, so we can either drag and drop a bunch of like icons onto the canvas and create icon sets with them, which are both supporting variables and then have this crazy visual search experience where we can just drag and drop them onto the canvas. And on the right panel, we have this search right here. And by the way, if we press the I to go to the insert panel, we have the icons here that now also support this search. So if we drag and drop the phosphor icon pack, we can go to the right and search all of them here. So maybe we want to add a hamburger, and now we have the hamburger here. So yeah, it is pretty cool. And lastly, we also have support for animations. So inside of vector sets, we can go on the right panel to add, for example, this little looping animation on these circles. If we click one of these ovals and go to the right, we click effects, stroke, we can customize these properties, the easing, the looping, the type and everything to create these creative effects. So yeah, that's the new vectors in Framer. If you have any questions about them, make sure to drop them in the comments. And yeah, also check out Figma University for other cool tutorials, resources, remixes, components. If you are learning Framer or you just started, it's probably going to be a great resource for you. So yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure to like it, subscribe for more, and I'm going to see you in the next one.